Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Viking here, of course. And today I wanted to do a video to get something off my chest, to address some of the stuff that's in the limelight right now. So Ray Fisher plays Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Came out with a statement yesterday, talking about how he had been fired from the Flash movie. How Walter Hamada, the DC president, isn't fit to be the leader of DC and is an enabler. That Geoff Johns is a racist. And when Ray Fisher went to the hierarchy of DC to sort out these problems, they didn't do it in the right fashion. Now Ray Fisher isn't backing down anytime soon. And people have said Ray Fisher's lying. Ray Fisher's looking for attention. Okay. All I know is an investigation took place. We don't know exactly what happened on the set of Justice League 2017. We have a fair idea, but we don't have any real facts. And it's not up to us to know. It's none of our business. It's up to the victims. The victims should feel comfortable if they want to come forward themselves. Ray Fisher, a victim, he was okay with coming forward. And he made sure that every other person was okay with coming forward as well, behind the scenes. And an investigation took place where more than 80 people were interviewed. And Gal Gadot has said that she had her own trouble with Joss Whedon. Jason Momoa coming out and saying that Frosty the Snowman article was bullshit. Ray Fisher saying that the announcement of Ben Affleck coming back in the Flash movie was supposed to be made at DC fandom, but was made to gather attention away from one of his tweets that was giving some negative spin towards DC and the people that run DC. Now, Ray Fisher has come out for the last 6 months or so bashing Joss Whedon, John Berg, Geoff Johns, Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada for their own actions with the investigation of the Justice League 17 set. Now, something happened. A lot of things happened. And the reason we know this is because Joss Whedon, a project he created in Everest for HBO Max, supposed to come out in 2021 sometime or start filming pretty soon, he has left that project. Scheduling difficulties or personal time, whatever that is. John Berg has completely gone away from DC. And Ray Fisher in that statement said that Geoff Johns will follow suit. He has his name on Titans, Doom Patrol, Supergirl, Wonder Woman 84, but slowly but surely Geoff Johns is being eased out. Now, of course, WB came out with a statement saying, "No, Geoff Johns is attached to all these projects. He's very much a part of our plans." Yeah, well, he has a pretty big contract, I'm guessing. And his name is going to continue to be on those projects, but he will have less and less say as this goes on. But Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich are still the main guys over at DC, with Walter Hamada being the DC president. But Ray Fisher has continued to call him out for being an enabler. Because when Ray Fisher went to Walter Hamada about all of this, instead of Walter Hamada getting to the bottom of this, sorting it out before it went to the public, before it went online, he decided to make a joke towards Ray Fisher of saying, "Hope this doesn't end up on your Twitter." You know, he tried to throw John Berg and Joss Whedon under the bus to save his buddy Geoff Johns. Now, he's worked very closely with Geoff Johns over the last few years at DC. Geoff Johns was a part of Aquaman, Shazam, movies like this, Wonder Woman 84. And I think DC, Walter Hamada himself, has been pretty happy with the success of those movies, even though they weren't huge box office hits. Even though they weren't 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think they're all patting themselves in the back, kind of lying to themselves, thinking, yeah, we're doing a pretty good job here, way better than the Batman v Superman Man of Steel days. When really, they've failed to reach the heights of the box office that Zack Snyder has done. And they have. You can look at Aquaman, but Aquaman was pretty much in production when Walter Hamada came on board. So I don't really give him too much credit there, but if you want it, go ahead. And the thing with Aquaman is it made $1 billion. Pretty good success, but a Zack Snyder casting. The attraction, the engagement with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman was like nothing that a DC movie has seen for a very long time. And that's something that Zack Snyder has now continued with Zack Snyder's Justice League. But WB, DC is a mess. And with Ray Fisher putting his career on the line to call out these people, to call out the injustice that has gone on, has resulted in him losing his job. Now, if you go back to the CW introduction of Ezra Miller meeting Grant Gustin's Flash, he talks about Victor was right, it worked. So Victor was obviously a part of the creation of Flashpoint, of Ezra Miller's Flash going through different multiple timelines. And Ray Fisher said he had a substantial role in the Flash movie, which was axed. A movie that's supposed to be bringing back Michael Keaton as Batman, Ben Affleck as Batman, already has a lot of attraction around it. But right now, Andy Muschietti has a huge mess on his hands. Ray Fisher will not be a part of this movie anymore, and Ray Fisher said he will not work under any Walter Hamada production because Walter Hamada is an enabler. He tried to take away the toxic, negative outcomes from the Justice League set on Geoff Johns and put it on Joss Whedon and John Berg, trying to protect his buddy. And Ray Fisher goes, no, he's one of the main guys. He needs to face action for this. Now, we don't know exactly everything, and as I said, it's not for us to know. But it's about these people in power supposed to be doing their job, respecting their employees, respecting their artists. They pay these people to act, to make movies, and they haven't respected them over the last few years at DC. Now, I like Shazam, I like Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84. I watch these movies, I enjoy them. I've never been one to boycott DC movies. I've never been one like that. Of course, I wanted the Snyderverse to continue and expand, and I was annoyed that after Batman v Superman, they changed absolutely everything. I was annoyed. I was. But I held out hope that the Snyder Cut would get released. And it is getting released, and I can't wait, and I'm so excited. But I went to go see the other DC movies. Even when Robert Pattinson was announced as Batman, I was excited. I'm interested in that movie. Ben Affleck coming back in Flash, coming back in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Amazing stuff. But I could acknowledge the weaknesses. I could acknowledge that the disrespect that they show towards their artists and actors. I could understand that. I really could. And it annoyed me. But I put it to the side and I watched the movies. Now, the thing with the DC universe. Now, you may think that I'm going away from the racism claims by Ray Fisher, but this all connects and this all implements the product. It does. Do I believe there was racism on the set? If Ray Fisher said so, I believe him. I honestly believe the guy. Because Gal Gadot has come out. Jason Momoa. There's other people as well who probably will end up coming out as well about Geoff Johns, about Joss Whedon, about John Berg, about what actually happened. But to see, it's plain as day, to see that Warner Brothers, that DC are trying to discredit Ray Fisher. They are. They're trying to hurt his career. And maybe he's doing it himself, but he doesn't care because he wants to do the right thing. And that's understandable, and that's a brave thing from Ray Fisher. But every time that Ray Fisher put out a tweet, Warner Brothers responded with a puff piece, clickbait article. They've done it today already. You know, the Ray Fisher versus Walter Hamada, you got DC coming out saying they're happy with Walter Hamada, they support him, he's the right guy. Ann Sarnoff doing the exact same thing, Jim Lee. These people are backing up Walter Hamada. You know, they are, and in fairness they are. And not many people are coming to the aid of Ray Fisher. But enough people, enough victims have spoke about what happened. And I'm sure more people will feel comfortable. But I want to talk about the disrespect DC has shown towards their artists. Zack Snyder created Batman v Superman. They cut 30 minutes out of the movie. David Ayer makes the Suicide Squad film. They tell him to change everything. Geoff Johns is heavily involved. He even changes the origin of how Robin died, making it Harley Quinn that killed him when it was always Joker. A completely other film of the Ayer Suicide Squad exists. Cathy Yan, the director of Birds of Prey, talked about her struggles with trying to make her movie as well. You know, so why is this continually happening at DC? Disrespect for the artists. I go towards the actors now. You're creating a DC universe. Everything is supposed to loosely connect or connect. You know, you got the MCU. Formula works. Great product. People enjoy it. Things connect. Cameos. Easter eggs. Oh, it's a great world. Everything connects. And I've been a big advocate of the multiverse. Not everything has to connect. Tell your own stories. But the one thing that's really annoyed me over DC films over the last few years, one that I haven't really publicly talked about as much, because I like to enjoy the things I enjoy, and the things I don't enjoy, I talk about them once and I leave them. But let's go to Shazam. Shazam, pretty good movie, okay? But they have a headless cameo for Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is the most successful Superman of all time. Box office, reception, all of that stuff. He is talked about a lot. But instead of working out a contract, or making time for Henry Cavill, they get a body double, a headless cameo. Bullshit. It's disrespect to the actors again. Why should Henry Cavill be put into the position of contract negotiations when he is Superman, when he is Superman? Like Robert Downey Jr., his shoulder was never shot. It never had a headless cameo. They worked it out. And they got him into it because it's supposed to connect everything. It's supposed to be connective tissue. It's supposed to be the DCEU, the MCU is supposed to be this universe where these characters exist. And if you want to use them, use them. If you don't use them. But there's no need to bring in a double and just do a headless cameo. Work it out. It's fucking Superman, for God's sake. Jared Leto's Joker, an Oscar winner as an actor. The disrespect he was shown on Suicide Squad. They cut out all of his scenes. A 8-minute cameo, extended cameo, was all he got. And he was pretty annoyed at that also. Then at Birds of Prey. Work it out. Show respect to Jared Leto. Okay, we're going to use you in Birds of Prey. It's only a cameo, whatever. Instead of doing that, what do they do? They show his fucking shoulder. And they get a body double to dress up in his makeup as well with a scene with Harley Quinn. Bullshit. People want to see these actors play the character. They don't want to see a body double. They don't want to see a shoulder of the character. They want to see the character. They want to see the actor acting. What's the problem with that? The Justice League movie, they completely butchered every single character. They did a complete 180 from the characters in Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, from Wonder Woman. Absolute joke. And the morale on the Justice League set after Zack Snyder left was pretty low because of the abuse from Jeff Johns, John Berg, Josh Whedon. Complete 180 from the set that Zack Snyder implements. A positive set where everyone is loving, everyone is positive. And I haven't heard too many people talk shit about Zack Snyder. You know, it's complete disrespect. You want to go back? Disrespect for Zack Snyder. His daughter passed away. And instead of saying, okay, what can we do, Zack, to help you? We can push the movie back. Make sure you get it done. We release it. We show your vision. They don't. They say, okay, Zack, sorry, bye. Jeff Johns brings in Josh Whedon, the director of the Avenger movies. In fact, the director of 2 very successful Avenger movies, but wasn't called back by Kevin Feige. Never came back for anything. Jon Favreau did the first 2 Iron Mans, but he came back as an actor, as a producer. He's now the main guy over at the Star Wars Disney Plus stuff. While Josh Whedon is nowhere to be seen near any Disney properties, any Marvel properties. Completely gone. And maybe something happened on the sets of those 2 movies, maybe something didn't. But if it did, Kevin Feige made sure it didn't get out. It didn't affect the brand. He dealt with it internally, and Josh Whedon has not been near any of the sets since. So I just think it's interesting. And Kevin Feige, I think Ben Affleck referred to him as a genius. He is a genius. He's one of the best producers. He's created the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he has done things right. Yes, they've had on-set problems, Ed Norton, War Machine being recast and stuff, but it never got out into the limelight where it affected the brand. And if Ed Norton left, it was because he wasn't happy with the story being told, and that's it. And he left and went and did other things, and they recast. But they never made it bigger than the brand or the movies, and they definitely didn't make anything out of sexism or racism or anything like that. They kept those things as best as they could in the right way. And the Marvel Universe gets a lot of praise, and rightfully so. And the DCE universe gets a lot of negativity, and not all the times it's granted. But in terms of how they treat their talent, how they treat their actors, their directors, yeah, they pretty much are pretty bad. They've disrespected Zack Snyder, David Ayer, Cathy Yan, Jared Leto, Henry Cavill, Ray Fisher. Like Jared Leto, an Oscar-winning actor, as the Joker, not even consulted when they go and make another Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sure Jared Leto would have been okay if he had Birds of Prey to do, if he had Suicide Squad 2, if he had his own Harley Quinn Joker movie. I'm sure he would have been fine as an Elseworld story going on as well. But to completely oust him from Suicide Squad, not even use him in Birds of Prey, but reference his character, and then recast another Joker and make a different Elseworld movie is disrespectful. Even though I love the movie, I like the movie, yeah, brilliant. But it's disrespectful to the actors that you've hired for the role. And I guarantee you, Henry Cavill showing up in Shazam would have been great connective tissue. It would have been great for audiences to see, and would have been pretty cool, like a Robert Downey Jr. appearing in an Incredible Hulk film or in a Spider-Man film. It's all connecting and it all works. But a lot of those rumors, a lot of those bullshit claims about Henry Cavill stepping down as Superman going to be recast came from Shazam. Now, maybe he wanted more money. Maybe his contract wasn't the way he wanted. Maybe those things were at foot. Maybe he was busy. But you do something to get him in the film if you want this connective tissue of a DCEU. You do the exact same with Jared Leto. Yes, he was shooting Morbius during Birds of Prey, but you're telling me you couldn't got a day, 2 days, a week just to shoot something for him to appear in that movie? You know, something? You couldn't have done anything? If Zack Snyder can direct Ezra Miller through Zoom when he's on set of the Fantastic Beasts in London while Zack is in LA, then why can't you work something out in some capacity? It's just disrespect for the cast, for the directors. I want to go to disrespect to the fans. A big disrespect to the fans. It's been happening for years. Batman v Superman Man of Steel has its fan base. It has made money. The fans want to see more of it. What they do, they make Justice League. They butcher it all. That's disrespect towards the fans. They watch a trailer for the Suicide Squad film with David Ayer and they think, wow, this film looks fucking amazing. They go see it. I liked it. But it's not the movie that was depicted in the trailers. A completely different movie. Disrespect to the fans. They lied to us. They told us that Justice League in 2017 was a Zack Snyder directed movie. He left, but Josh Whedon is coming in and taking up the mantle, and he's going to be doing a tribute to Zack Snyder. It's going to be definitely a Zack Snyder movie. They marketed as Zack Snyder clips, trailers from Zack Snyder. They said this is the continuation of the Man of Steel Batman v Superman story. We go to see it. It's not. We all know how that turned out. That's disrespect towards the fans. And it all comes full circle. You think Michael Keaton's going to sign on for Flash if all this shit is going on? You think how bad this is for Andy Muschietti trying to make the Flash movie? A Flash movie that he wanted to have Ray Fisher's Cyborg in, but now he can't. Again, that is putting handcuffs on your artists. That is saying, you want one thing, we don't want that. It's a joke. And the DCEU, even though I love it, even though the multiverse is at large, not everything has to connect. You can use different characters and different stories. It doesn't have to connect. I'm okay with that. But when you have an actor appear and a stunt double comes up, when you have a disservice to the fans where you falsely market a product, when you have an actor, a black actor, coming out and talking about racism on set, abuse, or whatever else happened on set, and he is not taken seriously, that's disrespect towards your employee. That's disrespect towards Ray Fisher. And that carries over to the Flash movie where he will not appear now. And that's disrespect towards the fans who are willing to pay money to see this story. Now, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say here, guys. It's complete disrespect from Warner Bros. And they've been doing it for years. I've seen many people saying that they're going to boycott DC films. And they're going to boycott watching anything got to do with DC or Walter Hamada or any of that Jeff Johns stuff. And before I would have been like, you know, that's not really going to change anything because we want the Snyderverse. This is different than the Snyderverse. This is a man talking about abuse while he was an employee for DC and him not being taken seriously and him being fired from the Flash, him being thrown Josh Whedon and John Berg so Walter Hamada can save Jeff Johns. This is about Gal Gadot having to endure Josh Whedon wanting to put an actor on her boobs, but her not willing to do it. It's dealt with. But when Ray Fisher has a problem, it's not dealt with. Before, we wanted the boycott because we wanted more Snyderverse. We didn't like what happened to Zack Snyder. But they continue to do it time after time after time. Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke shot a certain scene with Zack Snyder. Changed. Josh Whedon reshot it with Jesse Eisenberg. They changed it around. That's disrespect to Joe Manganiello. They've disrespected. I haven't even gotten to a big racist conspiracy, but it's not even a conspiracy because you have the actor who played Adam completely taken out of the Justice League movie. You have Ray Fisher's Cyborg's Victor Stone's mother completely taken out of the movie. His father's role completely gone as well in the movie. I'm sure there's other examples with white actors coming in and stuff like that. You can't prove that's racism unless there's different accounts from people, but it's plain to be seen what's going on. Then you have DC Walter Hamada coming out with statements saying, oh yeah, Ray Fisher, we dealt with the investigation, we found and we took action, but Ray Fisher didn't want to be in the Flash movie. Yeah, fuck right, he didn't want to be in the Flash movie. Because you're the same people who are enablers are working on these movies. And what happens if this stuff continues? Is there going to be another big investigation? Does Ray Fisher have to go on Twitter every single time so he is taken seriously, or will these people do their jobs? And it's a pity. I really wanted Ray Fisher in the Flash movie. Cool. I like him as an actor. I loved him in True Detective. I can't wait to see him in Zack Snyder's Justice League. But fair play to Ray Fisher for standing up, for saying, you know what? I'm not taking this shit. I'm going to stand up. If this means my career is gone, if this means I can't be this character anymore, but if I can do the right thing, if I can help people who have been stood down on, then that is the best thing. And fair play to Ray Fisher. Not many would do what he's doing. People are saying that Zack Snyder needs to come out and say something. Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa. You don't know what's going on in people's personal lives. You don't know. They might need a certain job. They might have a certain contract they need to uphold. They may need the next DC movie because they don't have much money. You never know what's going on in people's life. You never know. So to say you should put out a statement is a bit ignorant. Would we love they did? Yes, of course. But it's a near scenario with Henry Cavill coming out about the Snyder Cut. You know, you have to play ball with these people, especially your own personal life experiences or what's going on in your own life. So we don't know. But Ray Fisher is proud of what he's doing, and I think many people are proud. What? 90,000 tweets for I stand with Ray Fisher hashtag going? Yeah, that's going to be hard for Warner Brothers to ignore. And what happens if Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out in March and Ray Fisher gives one of the greatest comic book performances of all time? God, I hope he does. I really hope he does. Because if he does, it looks pretty bad on Walter Hamada to cut him out of the Flash movie. It looks bad on DC as a whole, that they would get rid of this great actor who was only trying to do the right thing, only trying to speak out against injustice. You know, so it's interesting. I hope he does give a great performance. I've no doubt that he does. I hope he's a standout. I hope he's unbelievable. What happens if Ray Fisher was to give an Oscar-worthy performance in that movie? You know, the people at DC are stupid. They're stupid, and they've got more money than me. They wear flashy suits, but they're fucking stupid because they don't know their fan base. They don't know what the difference is between respect and disrespect. They just do whatever the fuck they want. And respect is a big thing for me, and it's a big thing for everybody. But these people, the disrespect that they show in the fans, the directors, the talent, the artists, everybody involved, the disrespect is ridiculous. Danny Elfman being brought into the Justice League movie while Junkie XL is axed from it after being trained by Hans Zimmer. You know, it's just bullshit. It's bullshit. You have Fabian Wagner nearly crying watching the Justice League 2017 film. I don't know, guys. If you want to boycott DC films, I'm not going to try and convince you anymore not to. You know, I'm going to play it out. There's a lot more people that work on these films than Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich. But it is a difficult situation. And the next DC film, thankfully, is Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is a different film. Which was a film that was changed, that was got rid of, that Walter Hamada did not want. And Ray Fisher says that in the statement. He didn't want that movie. And if he ever did want that movie, he would have greenlit it a long time ago. But their hand was forced by the fans. The fan base spoke up week after week, day after day, and finally got it released. So what happens if Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out and it's a huge hit? How bad does this make Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich look again? Not only did the disaster of Justice League 17 get some egg on their face, also them not wanting to do the Joker movie, the $1 billion Joker movie that won an Oscar with Joaquin Phoenix. They didn't want to do it. Todd Phillips barely got paid for the movie until the box office hit came. How stupid did they look when that movie was a huge success? Winning awards left, right and centre. They never wanted that movie and they never got the financial reward out of it. Good enough for them. They've made 3 big mistakes in the last few years, DC. By what they did with the Justice League film. Butchering it. Then 2-3 years pass where they don't acknowledge it. They don't want to release it. They're a big mistake. And I think the third biggest mistake and the biggest downfall for Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich is actually them greenlighting the Snyder Cut. Because I think the Snyder Cut's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to trend. I think it's going to be big. Because I believe it will. And I think it actually will be a big hit. And it will be more egg on their faces because of the stupid decisions that they made over the last few years. Thinking that a Marvel-style Justice League movie would work. Or people want to see a headless Superman. Or the shoulder of Jared Leto. Or people want to be told that it's a Zack Snyder movie when it's not a Zack Snyder movie. This is their fan base. I'm not talking about critics. I'm not talking about people who get paid to write about this shit. I'm talking about the fan base that pay to go see Man of Steel, see Batman v Superman, to see Aquaman. They want to see these characters that Zack Snyder cast. And be respected, because we are showing you respect by going to these movies, by paying to see these movies. I went to go see Wonder Woman 84 twice. Batman v Superman, I can't remember how many times I've seen that. I've watched it 1,000,000 times. That's the respect I'm showing towards your brand. At least show some respect back to your talent and your fan base. Saying, okay, the fans want this type of movie. Let's make it. Because Kevin Feige, say what you want about him, he's addressing the Defenders, the Daredevils, the Punishers. And it looks like some of them might pop up. The Tobey Maguire fans of the Spider-Man franchise. they're going to be rewarded when he pops up, Andrew Garfield, giving the fans what they want because they're the ones that pay the money and they're the ones that want to see it. But the mess at Warner Brothers right now is ridiculous, and I would love to see Ray Fisher back in the Flash movie, but I don't think he'll want to work with one of those people. I don't think so, because they're piss poor people, terrible people. They don't respect people, and it was about time it was going to catch up on them. It was going to catch up on them somewhere. Their behaviour, the way they treated people, it was always going to catch up with them. You can't just fire 2 guys and protect one and think everything's going to be okay. Maybe before would have, but the internet's at large now, and these things are addressed online a lot more than they would have been 20 years ago, and they get out a little bit more. But we only see what's on Twitter. We don't see what's happening behind the scenes with this. What exactly is going on? But I can't wait for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I can't wait to see Ray Fisher in the role. Is the DCEU in a mess? If you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said, not really. It's the multiverse. It's the multiverse. Not everything has to connect. You can use different characters and different stories. It doesn't have to connect. You can connect what you want. But the thing that always annoyed me was the disrespect towards the talent and the fans. And I go back to the Henry Cavill headless cameo, the Jared Leto shoulder, Ray Fisher being removed from the Flash, the butchering of the Justice League movie, the butchering of the David Ayer Suicide Squad movie, the butchering of Jared Leto's character in Suicide Squad. I go back to all these things, and when I think back on them, I think it's a big disrespect. And this maybe the title of this video is just disrespect, because that's prime examples from Warner Brothers, from DC, and that's only the stuff that we know. Imagine the stuff that we don't know. Another big disrespect was the Walter Hamada New York Times interview. Now, he didn't say cul-de-sac himself. It was the article writer. Okay, they put it in cul-de-sac, a street that leads nowhere. It can also be a street that it's its own thing. But why would you try and hurt your brand like that when the next big DC movie is Zack Snyder's Justice League? Don't you think that you would look at that article and say, look, take out that cul-de-sac thing. People are going to take that the wrong way. Fans are going to take that the wrong way. It shows that we have no faith in this movie coming up. But again, it's disrespect, because they don't care about the Snyder Cut. They don't. They would have released it 2 years ago. And yes, they've given $70 million to Zack Snyder to complete his vision, and that's great. But why did they do that? Did they do it because the fans were so loud? Did they do it because they finally got to see the mistakes that they made? Why? I don't know, really. Why they decided to give in to Zack Snyder. Maybe because the fans were too much. The fans were too loud. What happens to the fans of Ray Fisher? What happens when these fans make Zack Snyder's Justice League a huge hit online? What are they going to do then? I hope Ray Fisher gets what he's looking for. I hope the victims get what they're looking for. Because, remember, there's victims. And this is the reason I bring the movies into this, the reason I bring the public scenarios into this, is because it all overlaps. It all affects the brand, it all affects the artists, the directors. How many people have left the Flash movie? Ben Affleck has left and now come back to the DC world only to see Ray Fisher, an actor that he portrayed Cyborg with in the Justice League movie, to be treated like this and now fired from the script that he's already read that had him in it. And Ben Affleck's like, man, this shit is still going on. I leave, I get healthy, I come back, and it's still going on. Why would Ben Affleck come back to be Batman in anything if these are the people that's in charge, if this is the shit that's going on? I don't know, guys. I wanted to get, I know it's a pretty long video, and if you watched it all, I appreciate you watching it all, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. I wanted to talk about it. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about it. What is your opinion on the Ray Fisher situation? Will you boycott DC films? Do you think the DCEU is in a mess? It's not in a mess to me, but the disrespect towards the cast, to the fans, to the artists, makes it very disjointed. You can have a multiverse and that can work, fine, perfect, do it. But at least just show respect to the people that's working for you. And that's something that they haven't done. And I like all the DC movies. I've watched them. I like them. I'm not an ogre where I hate everything. I'll try and watch what and enjoy what I'm given. But there's certain things that I can't keep looking at with DC. And one of them is disrespect. And the racism shown towards Ray Fisher and the cast is very blatant to be seen. And the discrediting of Ray Fisher, the articles, it's just too much, guys. Guys, let me know. Give a like, subscribe if you like this video, if you want to see more videos from the Viking. But get in the comments. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What is your situation? Where do you stand? Do you stand with Ray Fisher? Do you think he's no leg to stand on? Will you boycott DC films? What's the plan with you as a fan right now? Because for me, I'm looking forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm looking forward to it. The most popular things right now got to do with DC is Zack Snyder's Justice League, the sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad film, Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, and Ben Affleck coming back as Batman. 4 things that haven't been part of the new plan from DC. The Burtonverse, the Snyderverse, David Ayer's world of Suicide Squad, that IP. This is things in the past. That's the only exciting thing for DC going forward right now. Just shows you. But guys, let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and try and have a good day.